to episode 13 of the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. Thank you for tuning in, and if it's your first time watching, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for subscribing. And just thank you for sticking with us through all of our technical difficulties and my tongue twistedness. That's a word, I think. And if you're a new viewer, this is what you have to look forward to. Yay! This has been a very busy past week. And this morning, I have just been like brain fogged or something. Too much coffee, not enough. I don't know which, but this is about the 15th time it's just me, tried to record episode 13, not like in the past with its technical difficulties, so hopefully, knock on wood, the microphone is picking this up, but with me technical difficulties, not remembering what to say, repeating myself, getting all tongue twisted, so praying that this one goes off without a hitch, and you know what? At this point, we're just going for it. So, like always, I always start off the show with finished objects, if we have any, and then moving on to works in progress. And I do have a finished object, as you can see, with what's around my neck. No, it is not surprisingly fall yet here in Texas, or magically 50 degrees outside. I just am wearing this because I finally finished it and I want to. I'm going to take it off now because it is like 90 degrees out. But if you've been watching or tuning into the podcast, let me fix my hair first. There we go. This is my Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. So I'm going to hold it up here. And as you can see, it's massive. I did make the large. And I made it in all one color. The yarn is Dream in Color Smushy, and the colorway name is Guthrie's Peak. And it is all the same color. It's 3 skeins, and the variegations between each skein really let each section pop, and you can see the different directions that each section is going. And the variations in color, like this section came out darker. This one here is probably my lightest one right here. This one almost has a stripey effect. So it's been really neat to see this come together. So I finished this actually this morning, which is why their ends are not woven in and it has not been blocked yet. So as soon as I do get home, I'm going to throw this in the tub and weave in my ends and block it so that I can wear it on our trip coming up this week now. We are leaving Wednesday to go up, and one of my very best friends is getting married, and so we're going to support her and her new hubby. The shop will be open and all shipping is as normal. Grace will be running all of that, including shipping, so don't worry about the shop being closed or anything, because it's not. She's going to be opening, so we'll open normal hours, and she'll be here to answer all of your questions, to host the sit-in-it, all that good stuff. So, again, finished object. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Let me see if you can see this. It's not really showing up on camera very well, but it is a kind of a rosy taupe color with an undertone and speckles of mustard. Let's see if this will... kind of see that mustard color, teal and burgundy. So it's very neutral, just exactly what I was looking for. Goes with lots of my wardrobe, and it's one of those nice big cozy airplane wraps, so it's like you can snuggle under this under the airplane. Good for cold weather and our upcoming trips, so I'm very pleased that I did this. I'll be updating my Ravelry page hopefully later today. I've got a busy day today, but hoping I can get all this done. And voila. So when I get back from the trip, I will pop this in the shop as a store sample as well. If you really fall in love with this color, we are getting more in. I believe I have about one skein left in the shop, but we are getting more in the next week or so. The order from Dream and Color should be arriving, so we will have it in the shop for you. I'm going to put this down. Okay, now on to works in progress. I was really hoping to have my Sunset Highway done, but because how busy we were this week in the shop, I really didn't get any shop knitting done except for a few rows on Vertices Unite late on Saturday, and that was about it. Friday was super busy, and Saturday was also super duper busy, so which is a great thing. So I love it. I'd love for you to come in and fill up the shop with so much business that I can't knit. That would be amazing. Then I can just knit at night. So, as you are fully aware, if you've been watching this podcast, this is my Sunset Highway. So it's all hedgehog for the yoke, and then this bottom, the main color, is my custom colorway for the shop by Yarn Carnival. The sleeves are done, and I just have, I think last time I measured it, I think I had like right at 10 inches done from the armpit to here, and I think we go till 14 or 15 inches. So I don't have a lot left on this. I don't think I will get it done before we leave. I'm going to try though, because then if I get 2 things cast off, then I totally justify myself in the 2 things that I want to cast on this trip that I've got coming up. So the goal is to finish the body before I leave. That way I can weave in the ends and block it when I get back and have it in the shop next Wednesday. That's the goal. No promises though. But I'm really loving it. The colors have been really great. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the lighting in here because it's really cloudy. It's doing something funky with the camera, but like I said, the yoke is all hedgehog, so it's graphite colorway. Tidal, I believe, for this part, and this is Pinata. Tidal and Pinata were either club colorways or potlucks. I can't quite remember, but we do have other colors in the shop that are similar. Not necessarily by hedgehog, but with some of the other hand dyeds that we have. So if you're wanting to replicate these colors, we can definitely get you pretty close, and of course exactly with the body color. So almost to the finish line with Sunset Highway, and then I believe once I finish Sunset Highway, I believe that will be either my 8th or my 9th sweater for this year. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look at my finished objects. Because I was shooting for 12 sweaters this year. And I really do think I'll be able to. Because I have that one almost done. I finished, okay, let's see if we can count. At the beginning of the year, I did my Weekender. I did Tecumseh. I did Tegna. I did the Test Knit for Joji, which was a sleeveless sweater. I'm still counting that right now as a finished sweater. I did the Hayward, which is number 5. I did the squared poncho. It used way more yardage than a sweater. I'm counting that as a sweater because I will wear it like a sweater coat. We'll count it for now. Then, so that gives me 6 actually completed. 6. Thought I did another one. I guess not. Okay, I need to get cracking because then number 7 would be Sunset Highway, 8 would be Rhapsody and Cables, 9 would be Josh's sweater, and then I want to cast on the May sweater, There was something else I wanted to cast on. Well, that would get me 10, but okay, I've got some more work coming my way as far as sweaters, because I need to get more sweaters done. Okay, that was very much a sidetrack brain. What do they call that when they just kind of ramble on? A couple of the podcast ladies have a word for it. Brain dump or something like that. Anyway, I digress. So the other things that whips that I have worked on a tiny bit this week was mostly Vertices Unite and Sunset Highway. I got a few rows in on my Kyler shawl, which is this beautiful lace shawl by Isabel Kramer. This is nothing that I'm really like trying to get done by a deadline. I actually keep this in my purse, this project, because the lace pattern is so easy to read that I actually just keep this project in my purse. And so literally when we go on the way to church, which is like a 5-minute drive from our house, I get a row in. I just get a row in when I can on this project. Not necessarily like working on it every night right now. The color, see if you can see this on camera. This is Passport by Red Stag Fiber, my hubby. And I'm loving how it's turning out. Just it's going to be this really nice maroon wrap. Perfect for fall. So that got worked on a wee bit. And also at home, I finally finished, and I've now begun, I think, 1 or 2 rows into the second repeat of the pattern of the cable for Josh's sweater. So that's the full, let me show you in the middle here. That's basically 1 cable chart done, plus like 2 rows. So I'm really loving how this is turning out. You have moss stitch on the sides, this really nice thick ribbing. And there'll be a nice wide button band that I add onto the sides and the collar. And so this is Josh's sweater. I believe it's called Mount Auburn. Let me double check here. It was in Interweave magazine. Yeah, Mount Auburn cardigan by Irina Anakiva. And I'm using the recommended yarn for it, which is a worsted weight 100% virgin wool called Watershed. And I really love it. Now you can see kind of when I move it, there is a little bit of see-through in this moss stitch. I'm not worried about it because when I block it, I know because of the way it's spun, it's going to bloom really nicely and kind of fill in the bits. I did size down 1 needle size from the recommended to get gauge. If I had used the recommended needle size, I would be larger than gauge. So I'm not worried about any of the sizing because I've tried it around Josh. It's fitting quite well. I'm on gauge, like I said, so really just enjoying the cable pattern in this sweater and knitting in this virgin wool. It's nice and toothy, and it's really fun to work with. The 2 works in progress that have not gotten any love this week was my Chrysalis shawl by Lavanya Petrosella. I did not work on it at all. And my Rhapsody in Cables by Joji. It's still just sitting there. I do have now different needles to switch. I was doing Magic Loop for the sleeve, and I just was not working on it because I don't like Magic Loop. Magic Loop and I are not friends. And then I switched to these wooden DPNs. I got a couple inches done. I am so tangled, so when I get home I have to work on untangling all of this mess. And and it's still just bogging me down. But actually, when we were on vacation, I picked up some Addi Flexi Flips. I'm going to try those and see if that works, and then if not, then I don't know. I may do 2 circulars to see if that feels better and I'm able to get the sleeve done. So once I get the sleeve done, then I can move on to another section, and then I think I'll be motoring along. So those are all my whips. Now I do have 2 projects that I plan on starting. One is another sweater called the May Sweater by Andrea Mowry, and my picture for it has disappeared, but it's a really cute V-neck, double V-neck, so front and back V-neck, kind of a long tunicky style sweater with just these kind of dropped sleeves, no actual sleeve that you pick up and knit down, so it's almost like a sleeveless tunic, but it comes down and covers almost to your elbow. So I think it'll be perfect transitional weather piece for us, or layering piece under like a long sleeve sweater here in Texas. And I found, if you've been watching, you know, back in June when I went to Utah, I picked up some souvenir yarn from Blazing Needles, and it is Brooklyn Tweed's Ranch, which is no longer made, but it is a worsted weight climate beneficial yarn. And I have the required yardage, actually I have more than the required yardage for the May sweater, in the Ironstone colorway, which is really kind of my perfect colorway. It's a brownie taupey gray. It almost basically matches my Vertices Unite, which is kind of funny. But yes, so this is what I'm going to make the May sweater on. So I've already wound this one up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to swatch. You should swatch, but I'm not going to swatch. And now there's a reason why I'm not going to swatch, is because I have this year made several sweaters. I have knit a lot of Andrea Mowry's patterns, including sweaters, and I know how my gauge is when I cast on her patterns. I typically run a bit, let's see, with Andrea Mowry, I knit slightly tighter, just slightly, mostly in the shawls, but in the sweaters I've done of Andrea Mowry's, I'm pretty much on gauge or just slightly tighter. So I make sure I don't size down in needle size at all. So I will cast on my size with the recommended needle. And it is a larger needle, so I'm not going to try and size up on this unless once I get in, like past the ribbing on the bottom, because it is a bottom up sweater, I believe. If it's looking really too tight or the measurements are nowhere near what the finished size should be, then I will go ahead and swap out needle sizes. But I know with Andrea Mowry's patterns how my gauge usually runs. Like with her sweater, with her shawls, pretty much I can guarantee I size my needle down one size from what she recommends. With Caitlin Hunter, I know I size down one needle size from what she recommends to match the gauge. For Joji, I typically size down a needle, but if I have the exact same yarn that she used in the sample, I can knit it exactly the same. Why, I don't know, but I know this because I've knit a lot of their patterns. So if you haven't knit a designer's pattern before, and it is a garment, then I would recommend that you gauge or swatch. If you've knit this person's patterns over and over and over again and you love how they fit on you and you have gauge swatched for them before and you know what you need to get gauged, you know you typically size down or you typically size up, or you can knit it as is, then do that. Because the designer's gauge doesn't really change. That's just like your gauge doesn't really change unless you change the way that you physically knit, going from throwing to picking or left-handed to right-handed, etc. That's the only way you can truly change your gauge. So that was a total rabbit trail, but it's a nice piece of information. So, May sweater out of this Brooklyn Tweed Ranch. That will be getting cast on the trip, I'm pretty positive. And then the other thing, I'm going to wind the yarn today, is I'm going to cast on, where'd my label go? I don't know. I'm going to cast on another Birds of a Feather, because it was so fun. And I have to tell you this Birds of a Feather story. In Suburban Stitcher, and this is her colorway Moody Blues. So, Suburban Stitcher was here on Saturday and did a trunk show, which was amazing. And we had so many people come in from Dallas area. We had people coming in from West Texas. We had people coming in from Beaumont and East Texas and down south in the Sugar Land, Richmond, Santa Fe type areas. All over this area of Texas came to see Diane and the Suburban Stitcher. And her yarns are absolutely amazing. Funny thing is, so I have my Birds of a Feather sample here in the shop, which Birds of a Feather is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. Technology. So, I was, like I do every time, I go back once I'm finished with the podcast and make sure that the audio has recorded through the whole thing. It did not, and so it cut off when I was trying to look for Birds of a Feather pattern. So, we're going to pick up where I left off. Birds of a Feather pattern was first published in Book 2 of Lina Magazine. So, side note while we're here, we now have Book 1 and Book 2 of Lina Magazine available in-store and online. And we still have copies of Book 4 and one copy, I think, left of Book 5. So if you're interested, we do have those available. But back to Birds of a Feather. So hopefully I'm not repeating, but I think all of this got cut out. When Suburban Stitcher was here for the trunk show, we started selling kits for, not like prepackaged kits, but because her sample and my sample were really inspiring people to knit Birds of a Feather. So there's like 16 of us now knitting Birds of a Feather. My colors are the Moody Blues by Suburban Stitcher, but we also have lots of other colors from Suburban Stitcher that you can knit your own in. We have her original sample colors, which is Pashmina. We have, this is very similar to mine. This is Moody Blues with Darkest Night mohair. So we have this option for you. We have, I believe, what does she call this? Dianda. So we have this combination, really pretty. We have Jon Snow mixed with the Dolly. A really nice combo. We have the Peach Tea with the Dolly. I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it for the mohair and singles that we have from her. But then we also have all of our chain fiber mohair. We have, which pairs well with a lot of that. We have hedgehog fiber mohair. We just got more in. So before I go on to the hedgehog fiber mohair, if you're doing Birds of a Feather, we'd love for you to kind of join in a little informal Birds of a Feather knit along, and we're going to be hosting it basically now through the end of the year, and everyone who finishes their Birds of a Feather with yarn that you purchased here at the shop, whether it was at one of our trunk shows or earlier in the year, as long as you purchase the yarn here, you'll be entered in to win a prize drawing. And so come work on them here at the shop. We're not going to have like a specific, oh, you have to come work on them here at this point in time. You can cast on now. You can have already cast on as long as the yarn was purchased here at the shop. Or you can come in next week or the week after and buy a kit and or buy the yarn for it and cast on then. Doesn't really matter. But come in, bring it in, and work on it during sit and stitch. You know, just have fun with it, and then post pictures on social media using hashtag Modern Skein and hashtag TMSBOAF, I think. Birds of a Feather? I don't know. Hashtag it with the Modern Skein haul and the Modern Skein, and I'll see it. And bring it in, and we'll take a picture and then enter you into the drawing. So that's exciting. Let's see, the other things that we got in, like I said, were hedgehog fibers this week. We got skinny single and mohair. And so we have plump in mohair and skinny single. This would be beautiful, rich birds of a feather. Yeah, I did. I just forgot. Rabbit trail. We have hawk, and in both the skinny single and mohair. This would be a rich, moody color palette. We have gossip. We do not have gossip on mohair, just on the skinny single. Same with raku. But you could pair, well, raku has blue in it. I don't think most people realize this, but raku has quite a bit of blue. You could pair Bali with it for something really poppy, or you could pair, you could even pair hawk with it. I think that would be nice. You could do, we have method in the skinny single and the mohair. This would be really nice. We have magpie. Again, you could do any of the dark colors with it. Be really nice. We have sorbet, and we have UFO. Sorbet would look really good with Ching Fibers, Gelateria, or Champagne, or even Lullaby mohair. We have Beach Bunny, which would pair with Bali really nicely. And we have Deja Vu, also pair with Bali. Or you could pair Deja Vu with the plump. Or with Dragonfly. Dragonfly is kind of got all these colors in it. So it's really pretty. So that is all of the hedgehog that we got in this week. We have another order coming in soon. And let's see. We've got lots of orders of stuff coming in. So watch the podcast, watch our social media feed, because when they come in, we'll start posting about them. And then these we got in from Katrinkles like 2 weeks ago, but I don't think I shared them on the podcast. If I did, whoops, but I don't think I did. So this is the Knitter's Rule gauge. We have buttons. These are the 1-inch knit stitch buttons, and we have the 1/2-inch knit stitch buttons. And we have the fox knit stitch, or fox buttons. We also have the small knit stitch earrings. I'm wearing the large, which are like 1 3/4 or something like that. And these are like a 1/2 inch, so you can see. Then we have State of Texas stitch markers, knit stitch markers, little alpacas, and kitty cats. So we have all of those, plus all of the other stitch markers and things that we have, of course. And I mentioned we have Lina issues 1 and 2 now in the shop, and we still have a couple books of book number 4, book number 5, and we'll be getting book number 6 as soon as it's released, which should be, I think, either September 26th or 28th. We'll get it in. I think it's 26th, because I want to say the 28th is a Sunday, which would be weird, because a lot of shops are closed then. But anyway, whenever it is, we will have it available. I think that's about it. As far as events going on, we have the Forbidden Fiber Trunk Show or pop-up shop going through the end of the month, end of September. So we have all of the products listed online as well as here in the shop. We have our full fall collection. We have some of the Harry Potter colorways. We have some of the Outlander colorways. And we have some of her all-time favorite colorways as well. We have the Pride DK, the regular Pride, which those are her sparkle bases. We have Gluttony Sock, Gluttony, actually no, I don't think we have Gluttony Sock. I think we have Fortitude. We have Gluttony DK and Gluttony Worsted as well. So we've got lots of options for that. We have a trunk show for Night Owl Fibers coming up October 13th. And I'm still looking at putting up a tips and techniques type class, kind of an informal class, on the last week of September, but dates are not yet set. It's a pretty crazy month with my friend's wedding, and Josh is going out of town, and then I've got a quilt show that I'm exhibiting at. Grace is running the shop, and we've just got lots of things going on, and getting orders placed and getting orders in and unpacked and all that fun stuff. So hopefully we will see you in the shop soon, and if not, if you're far away, hopefully we'll see you interacting on the videos or the social media feeds, and we'll love to say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. We really love to see where all of our customers are, whether they're near or far. And also hope to see you one day in the shop. Maybe you can travel and come visit us and come say hi. So thank you again for watching. Thank you so much if you're one of our subscribers. We'd love to have more subscribers, so just hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. We're so thankful that you guys watch and tune in week after week. So like I said, I have repeated myself umpteen bajillion times. I'm gonna go, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.